Welcome to CDDC Apparel presents Casually Dressed Deep Conversation with me, Greg Chalmers, and my co-host as always is Christopher Shields. How are you, pal?
I'm very good, mate. Very good. How are you getting on?
I'm smashing, mate. I'm doing well. It's been a good day. Our guest tonight is YouTube football creator Smiv. How you doing, mate?
I'm good, mate. How are you? Thanks for having me.
Not a problem at all. It's a pleasure.
Yeah, I was a little bit late. We should not be mentioned that. I've left you waiting a little bit, nice. So I do apologise.
It's all right. Fashionably late, mate. I like it.
Two-year-old daughter does.
Mate, I'm fully feeling your pain, mate. Fully feeling your pain. It's actually my eldest's birthday today, and so trying to put her. They were all hyped up on birthday cake, and trying to get them down was just it's epic, mate. It's absolutely epic. So
you can pinpoint it, can't you? Like that sugar rush kicks in, and it's just like.
Right. Mate, yeah, honestly, yeah. I mean, there's been a few times, like I remember with my eldest, my brother took her out for something to eat, obviously a few years back, and just not having kids himself was just like, yeah, do you want this? Do you want sweets? There you go, ice cream and all the rest of it. And like, she walked back through the door, and the first thing she done was went. He's like, sorry, mate. Oh, no.
Man, I know.
It's the worst.
Thing like the nans and the granddads and the uncles, and they don't care. It's just like give them what they want, and then you've got to deal with it. Which is
yeah, exactly. I'm exactly the same. See, my nieces and nephews. The best thing about them is I can give them back.
Yeah.
There you go.
So, Smith, how's your whole COVID lockdown been?
Well, relatively quite lucky to be in the position that I'm in because I've got not necessarily me and what I do, but my missus. She works for the NHS. She's not so much on the front line, but she works in the sort of offices. She's like quite involved with lockdown and the strategic processes of all of it. I could bore you, but she didn't tell me enough to give you enough information. But it's quite important stuff, and obviously she's been working full time all the way through that. So it's her wage basically covers everything that we need, and then my wage just tops it up. So as a creator, it's like yes, because it just allows you to just crack on and do what you need to do. So some months as a content creator will be fantastic, and others will be absolutely terrible. But in terms of lockdown for me, yeah, it's been good. I always work from home anyway, so I've never had any issues with what we're doing at the moment. But in terms of the actual content that I produce, that's taken a little bit of a hit because I base all of my stuff in terms of going out to football. So that's off. So I can't really do what I do. So I've had to switch up my content a little bit. It's not been received as well because people subscribe for a reason. When you try something else, people just, I don't know, they're not feeling it. So just can't wait to get back to the football and do what we do best, really. That's where we're at. But yeah, as I say, really lucky to be in a position I am to just get by. That's the main thing. Because I know there are a lot of people out there a lot worse off. So it's not an easy time.
No, it's not. So I would like to take you way back to sort of 2009. So what sparked you into putting football on YouTube? What was the thinking behind it?
It was a weird one. Did you say 2009? Was I doing it back then?
Said
so we went right back to have a look at your first video.
Really old, man.
Yeah.
Just made you feel terrible there. Sorry, man.
No, so originally it was 2006. I actually opened my YouTube channel, which is when YouTube sort of first kicked off, and there was no football content on there. And I tried uploading stuff, but it was never really well received. But I don't know why I didn't carry on because I didn't have an audience to, it wasn't growing basically. But what I didn't know at that point was that's the hardest point when you've got zero to go from 0 to 1 to 2 and so on. That's the hardest point, and then you snowball as you get bigger. So I should have carried on doing football content from the beginning, and maybe I'd be in a bigger and better position now. But I was doing just all sorts of like presenting and rants and raves and blogs and whatnot. And I just saw myself as going down this presenter route. And then I think that video you saw would have been like is it a Nike talk?
Yeah, it's a Nike one, where you're interviewing Theo Walcott and stuff like that.
Yeah. So I got into that just because I was trying to pursue a career in it as a presenter at the time. But I love football as well, so it sort of married up quite well. But in terms of actually establishing myself as a content creator, as a out and out football creator, that didn't start until probably 2014. Because I was basically just working at Apple all the way through that time, from 2007 right through to 2011, 12 it was, and working part time, earning about about 600 a month. I was only working like two days a week, but the rest of my time was literally just networking and grafting, trying to get little jobs, doing loads of stuff for free, and just trying to get my name out there, basically.
Yeah.
In doing that, what I found was I like to be in control of what I was seeing on front of the camera as well. So if I was being filmed like that night thing, I edited that, but I did cut lots of things out that I might have like had a bad side, or something might not have looked great, and I'm like, I'll edit that out, or I didn't say that right, so I'll cut that out. But if I gave that to someone else, they might not feel that, and they'll just put it in, and then I'll look back at that video and go, oh, I don't like that. So I've always had this control over the edits, and so I naturally got into video production, so editing and filming and whatnot. So I had the time behind the camera, so I thought, this is my calling, this is what I do. I'm really good at, calling shots and stuff. So that was me. So working part-time at Apple, part-time as a video producer. And then one day, we already had this Sunday league site called Palmers. I don't know if you've come across it at all, but me and my mates, we was just like, we all played football when we were younger, and we basically just decided to get the band back together. We'd all lost touch. Wives, girlfriends, jobs, it all gets in the way. So we were just like, let's have Sunday as our day. So we spent first season as Palmers, and a lot of people say, why are you called Palmers? We basically played at a place called Palmers College. There was nothing special about it, and we didn't intend on filming. That wasn't even heard of back then. I was a video producer, and throughout that season, I was like, that'd be mad to get on camera. And I've always thought it. I'd be like, I wonder what it looked like when I run, or if I captured that goal, what would it? These weird things. Do you know what I mean? Like, you don't know what you look like when you run. So
yeah.
It's crazy, but there was certain games you think, I wish I'd kind of filmed that. But then I thought, I was always putting it off, and I was like, nobody cares, and nobody wants to watch footballers that have never made it. Yeah. So I was always putting the idea off. And then I had the idea that actually, do you know what I could do? Because I had this YouTube channel from back in the day that had mounted to a certain amount of subscribers, but it wasn't going anywhere. What I thought I would do, there was about 7,000 people on there, and I was like, I'm going to film the games. I don't care if it takes off or not, but I'm going to sponsor the team at the same time. So I put my video production team, my logo on there, and I filmed the games. It was almost like a silent advert. That's what I planned on it doing. But actually what happened is it completely flipped, and people actually did care about watching footballers that never made it. They found it hilarious, and it was just like, it was really relatable. And I think that's the one thing that I've always said is, like, if you can be relatable as a content creator, then you'll do all right. There's an element of luck that goes into it. Like, all these big creators, they've all had a bit of luck to get to where they are, but and it's how you maintain that after that. But so it was like, all of a sudden I'm dropping my video production thing. I'm selling all my gear. I'm going back to the basics of a simple camera on the sideline, one tripod. I've saved loads of money, and I thought, I've got this money now. I'm going to use that to just get on my way. Really, I gave myself sort of 3 or 4 months, and I thought, if I keep doing this and it keeps paying, it's only going to go up, and it allows me to be more consistent. So I quit Apple. It was just all one big rush. It was a bit of a risk, because you have to sort of take those risks sometimes. It was one that sort of paid off in the end. Palmers FC were born, and then it's just been going ever since. Just, every week we was uploading games, and over time we refined it a little bit more, and it become a little bit more polished. But we was always making sure that we represented that sort of true Sunday league thing. We didn't want to stick cameras in the goals and have it as a big TV production thing, because we're not trying to be anything. We're not. We're basically just turning out, sticking a camera there, and that camera on the halfway line that you might have seen is literally meant to mimic you as a viewer, just looking down the line or back and forth. We weren't interested in these heights or all over the show. So that's basically that's where we got to. And then obviously from there I've stemmed off into my own personal stuff as well. So we've got 2 channels on the go. So man, it's mad how it sort of grows, but it's tough at the moment. It is really tough. But
I can imagine.
It's part of the game, really. It's the risk you take as a self-employed person.
Well, I mean, I'm in the same boat as you, man. I'm a photographer.
Okay.
And that's what you're saying there about being luck. Luck being a huge part of how you got on in the industry. I couldn't agree more. And it's and during lockdown as well. All my work last year all gets postponed to this year, and even now some of it's getting postponed to next year. Corporate work, non-existent. You know, if you're doing promotional stuff or whatever, nobody's getting any money. And the ones that have got money are not open, so it's difficult, you know.
This is corporate, like when I was doing the video production stuff, it was like the corporate stuff. You only had to have a couple of clients, but that was your bread and butter. Then you were sorted, and then that paid for you to be a bit more relaxed and go and have fun on, charge less to do better shoots that you would enjoy and get your portfolio bigger and better. So I hear you. It is tough at the moment, and. What's your plans at the moment? You still getting any work in at the moment?
Still get some stuff, but it's all it seems to have fallen into this whole staycation thing. So I'm getting loads of like camper van companies want me to take their camper vans on week-long trips and photograph the whole thing so they can use it for like travel blogs and stuff. So I've just booked one the other day, so I'm away in April. Big shout out to Coast to Country campers if you're listening. But yeah, that sort of stuff, which actually kind of suits me because, I mean, where I'm based, I'm maybe about 45 minutes away from Glencoe, which is like the gateway to the Highlands and stuff. So it's quite easy. I just go and pick up a camper and take two of my pals and go on holiday for a week and photograph it.
Sick, yeah.
Silver lining, you know.
I was going to say, it sounds terrible, mate. It sounds horrendous. Those are really tough times. These luxury campers and photograph them.
Yeah. So when you were talking about, you've managed to sort of, when you started capturing the games, have you got like memorable moments that will always stay with you of from games that you've managed to catch on film?
Yeah, I mean, sometimes it's not even the big moments. It could be just like a funny thing, like the way a geezer falls over or the ref or like little moments that you just, there's so many. It was packed in it. And like, as I say, it was that very first season where I was like, we should film this. And and I kind of wish we did because there was some of the stuff that hasn't repeated. It's just so much. But it's crazy that you could, each week can be that little bit different. Even though it's a grass pitch, 11 players on each team and a ref, and how can each week be slightly different? Yeah, you get your comebacks and all that, but what I try to do with the games is, obviously I'll title it different each time because I don't just want it to be Palmers versus this team because no one's heard of the other team and not everyone knows who Palmers are. So I always make sure it's called Sunday League Football, and then we have a clever title which kind of gives you an idea of what may or may not have happened in the game.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, there was when we talk about luck, there were certain things that happened during that time because at the start, if you look back, it was just a team filming their game. There was nothing really special about it until those things started kicking off, and we could make fun and have a laugh with it. But there was one where, what was it? We had a geezer. Well, it was actually the perfect thing. Actually, we went out the night before, so I filmed little bits of this. We crashed this 21-year-old's birthday party. We was next door doing a quiz, and we won the quiz. Like, we're dumb as, like, we somehow, I don't know how we won this quiz, and then we were celebrating. And we was like, oh, there's music next door, and we walked in, and it was really weird. But there's this empty hall with disco lights and everything. And this girl that was just like, she was really sad. And we were like, well, what's this? And she was like, oh, it's my birthday party, but no one's turned.
Oh, mate.
You're like, how are you feeling?
I didn't put her in there, but like, there's probably about 4 people there. It was like, can we join? And they were like, yeah, we had a right, like, we had a good night. And like, the gaffer was just like, got in over his head. We've just filmed a lot and just edited it into the start of the video. It's like, this is what happened the night before, which is the reason why most of our team are half cut at the moment. Mm-hmm. So we go 1-0 down to this team that we shouldn't be losing to, but obviously you're not in the right frame of mind. So we're just, we'll probably pull this one off. And then we've got the gaffer like puking up over there. We didn't film those bits because people don't want to see it. But then one of our players gets injured and he has to go on. Then he scores. It's like the drunk guy scores and equalises. Then we go and win. Well, we get the second goal. But that in itself is just like, it epitomises like Sunday League, like getting pissed the night before, turning up, cracking on and doing it. But to turn it around and win the game, that in itself is great. But what happened on top was one of their players got really pissed off with one of our players, and rather than your normal shoves and handbags and stuff, he whipped out like a Muay Thai karate kick.
Yeah, genuinely. So this is the first time I seen a Palmers FC. I was just flicking through YouTube and I seen this guy. It was a proper roundhouse kick. Is it like
a Chuck Norris bad boy?
Genuinely, straight from the dojo.
Yeah. I mean,
honestly,
Cobra Kai them.
See, for me, like straight away, you watched it and you're just like, this stuff is happening up and down the country, week in, week out. And you're like, and I was just like, this is excellent. I was like, I mean, me and Greg have played football with each other for years, and it's exactly the sort of stuff that just becomes kind of legend in the pub when you're on a Saturday or a Sunday afternoon. But like, to have it documented, and you're like, yeah, this is perfect. And that was me. And like, from that, genuinely, that was the first video I remember ever watching. And that I was hooked straight away. I was like, this is excellent. This is exactly the sort of stuff I want to be seeing.
Did he clean him out?
I didn't realise that. Yeah. So his foot went above our guy's head, and that guy just sort of moved. He caught him a little bit, but straight away the ref sent him off. And I was just like, can we put that in? He walked straight up to us because he knew we was filming. He was like, let me see that back. I had to explain to him how the camera works and stuff. I said, after the game, we'll rewind it back. And I showed him. And he was like, yeah. He said, you're going to put it out? And I went, I don't really want to get you in trouble. Like, I can cut it out if you want. He went, no, leave it in. I'm so glad he did, because off the back of that video going out, like, we thumbnailed it with that the kick and everything. Off the back of that, like, the Sun Dream Team took it, Sky, Soccer AM, Lad Bible School, but all of them were just like, there's a team out there that filmed their games, and this is what happened. And everyone was like, shit. And everyone was subscribing. And from that, we just like started growing and growing and growing. And it was like, oh, when's the next one coming out? And it was such a buzz. I remember, like, every Sunday I used to get home, edit, and get it out the same night, and the whole WhatsApp group, the whole team were like, oh, yeah, I can't wait to see it. And then, like, over time, where I started polishing it a bit more and making it look better, it took another day, and now I'm like 2 weeks behind because it's just like, there was a lot of hype behind it right at the beginning, because no one had everyone knew what it was. It was, Sunday League. We've all seen it before, but no one had actually taken the time to document it, as you say. And it like you said, it was always just that conversation down the pub. If I'm talking to you now and you're just like talking about a goal, for example, I got inside and shot from the edge of the box, it went top in. The other person's like, but they can imagine it, but they can't see it. And it's like, now we can be like, oh, watch this.
100%. Yeah, that's exactly.
And that's what made it better. And I always said, like, it'd be great to film this stuff and to actually go and do it, and then for it to take off in the way that it did.
Yeah,
it's mad. It's absolutely mad.
Do you find that some of the players that, like, some of the other teams that come and play against Palmers, like, some of the players act up because they know that it's getting filmed?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, they do. Yeah. So when we first started, they were calling us like geeks and stuff like that because we had a camera. It's like, all right, well, we got to film it. That's kind of what we use. And like, there was only ever one team that said, don't film. Like, we don't want to be filmed. I was like, all right, fair enough. We beat them 5-0, so made sense for them. But
bad enough getting dicked on a Sunday afternoon for the world to see it.
It back, yeah. But the only team to ever say no. But fair play to every single team that we've played over the years, like, that have just allowed it and embraced it. Yes, they do act up, and you've got certain players on those teams, but for them, it's also their 10 minutes, 15 minutes of fame as well, because rather than saying no, it's an opportunity for them to go, oh, maybe my goal could get put back on there. We were never shy about, like, putting out a loss, and we were never shy about, like, showing what the other team are about and what they can do as well. So it was that kind of gamble for everyone, and everyone would always take it. It'll be like, oh, maybe I could do something good in the video, even if I don't score, we don't win. At least a bit of skill might get put in there, and maybe I'll go viral for whatever. So yeah, fair play to every single opponent, because we've never really had many problems on that front. But yeah, in terms of acting up, when we first started, teams would, and we'd always be finding ourselves in fights and whatnot. And over time, we was in the same league from the start. So, and we started Division 4, promotion to 3, to 2, to 1, right to the Prem. We literally just won everything there was to win. But over time, it kind of settled down. They knew the score. Like we were meeting the same teams over the years. So yeah, people got better. They understood it, and there was less acting up over time. However, we just moved leagues this year, so now we're against all these brand new teams that we've never heard of. They know who we are. They know that we film, and suddenly we're getting the same thing again.
Right.
So many fights are happening this season. When it was, so many people just like kicking off and like, oh, put that on YouTube. It's like, all right, yeah, we will. Like, we know what we're doing. Like, it's like, it feels like
the 200k subscribers, mate. I think we're all right. Cheers now. But cheers for their input. Yeah.
Yeah, like we were. There was seasons where we weren't that good as well, but we'd still be a scout because it would be the video side of things. Like, this. Like, but yeah, we got good. Like, we got really good. And then we're a scalp on that front, but also from the video point of view. So it's a huge deal for anyone to come along and beat us now. Because not only do they beat a decent team, but also they get it all framed up nicely and put on the internet for 50, 60, 70,000 people to look back at and go, oh, they did all right, didn't they? So,
exactly. It was. I mean, like you really, really, really grew really quick. I mean, because like you say, the only other team that I found that was putting stuff out that was hashtag United, and that again, it was. I mean, like you said, it was all right, but it for me, like, it lacked that kind of authenticity. You knew that it wasn't real. You know what I mean, I just couldn't get on board with the kind of like Spencer doing his kind of team talks and the kind of in the changing room talking about the chairman and stuff. And you're like, it wasn't.
Yeah, I mean,
it wasn't my bag like that. But
there was a period of time when, because obviously we started first, and then they came along probably about a year after, I'd say.
Yeah.
And the funny thing was, actually, Spencer was supposed, because we only live around the corner to each other. We're quite close.
All right.
Like, we get on really well now, but I think there was a bit of a falling out at some point. But he was supposed to sign for Palmers. And
was he?
So this is a guy that's on, like, at the time about 1 million subscribers, and he was like, "Oh, like, really like what you're doing. I want to get." He was living in London, but he just moved back to Essex. And he was like, "I really want to get into a team locally. Would love to get involved." And I was like, "Yeah, sick. Like, that'd be brilliant." And then he could maybe post it out as well and help us even more. But we set it up to happen. Got him a shirt and everything, and it kind of just went quiet. I was like, "Oh." And then I think, I wasn't too bothered, but the rest of the team were like, "Just mugged us off." And then all of a sudden this, all right, guys, we're starting this new team, hashtag United, blah blah blah, and then they're like, take a piss, like, stole our idea. But so they're always, I love them to bits. They take the piss out of me, they ridicule me, but they're good mates and they'll have my back. And they're very protective over Palmers. So every time, it's the norm now. Like you could probably go over to a Sunday league pitch and it's kind of 50-50 if there's a camera on the sideline these days. But back in the day, it was just a thing. So they've adopted it as, this is our thing. This is what we started. How dare they come along and
I get it.
It's an open field. Anyone can do what they want on the internet, and like, if people want to also film their games, that's no problem. And I liked it, to be honest, because what that did with hashtag starting, it gave people another thing to watch, and it gave the buzz of Sunday League a little bit more. Not that they were playing Sunday League, but it kind of gave football on YouTube a little bit more of a boost, because he used his channel straight away that was already up here to promote it more. And then out of that, Manny, I don't know if you've heard of Manny before.
Yeah, I've heard of Manny,
he started a team. Then more recently, you've got SC Dons came along. They're a big side now. They're probably the biggest one. And it's just tons are everywhere. I couldn't even tell you all of them, but yeah, man, it's completely exploded. But it went from a really unsaturated market to very, very saturated. And I think it's like, I get a lot of messages saying, "Oh, we're going to start a football team. We're going to film it. You got any tips?" It's like just do it. Do it. Make your mistakes, learn, and carry on. That's all. I can't give you any more advice. I don't want to really sit down with you and say, right, you need this camera, you need this, and then you need to say this, this, and this. Like, because why would you want to be a carbon copy of someone else?
Exactly.
It's all about finding your own identity. So,
Yeah, I mean, one of the kind of, I'd say one of the kind of big events in kind of the Palmer's FC journey was the game with hashtag as well, wasn't it? That was kind of the fallout from that as well. Do you think, obviously, like you say, the lads beforehand were a little bit kind of taking our idea? Was there already that kind of element of kind of like fight within the squad for that
game? Yeah. So it worked in two ways. So it was like I was like the face of it and the creator of it, and I kind of like, they were like my lads, and I told them what to do. So I was like, don't take a piss. And before, they didn't have Twitter. None of them had Twitter. None of them, like, they were all manual labourers. They were like electricians, and like, they don't do online stuff. So they've taken their laddish persona, brought it onto Twitter, and they're ready for like a bit of beef here and there. And it's just like, oh God, guys, like, you're representing us now. Like, and at the time, we were looking for sponsors and stuff, and that completely threw everyone off. Like, they didn't want to work with us. Nobody wanted to work with us because we've got these guys on here. Like, so I said, oh, can you just at least put in your bio, my faults are my own and do not represent Palmers.
Yeah.
So they did let us down. Like, they killed us off in terms of, you know, getting opportunities or big opportunities. But yeah, so I sat down with them before that game, and I'm like, I know you've got a big problem with these guys, but I need you to just treat it as a normal game, as if we're playing on a Sunday. Just go and win. It's a big opportunity for us. Just be the bigger team, because I feel like if we go in trying to be all physical, and we're just going to come across as idiots.
Yeah.
So that was my team talk. Spencer's one was probably more of the one that I didn't want my team to do. Get out of there, putting out, And I don't think he actually said this, but the way they came out and the way they bullied us to a certain degree was like, hang on a minute, why are they acting up like that? So actually, I was watching that and I'm thinking, when these videos go out, they're going to look like the dirty side, because I didn't want to be branded as this dirty side and dirty team. And they still, because we obviously lost the game, we went 1-0 up, and we should have carried up. We should have gone like 2 or 3-0 up. We missed really good opportunities, and obviously the last sort of half hour of the game, they just like completely mobbed us. But they deserved the win in the end. But the lads still blame me for my team talk, and I just think there was points in that game where I was like, just you should be able to beat a team like that playing your own football. You shouldn't have to do it.
Yeah.
But the reason it all kicked off, really, it wasn't even that bad a game. That's the thing. People that were there on the night, I think there was about 500 people turned up. People that were there on the night didn't think it was that bad a game either. It was just a 2-1 win for a side, and there was a couple of niggly tackles here and there, a couple of shoves, pushes and stuff. But overall, it wasn't that bad. What was bad was the fact that I filmed the game, Spencer filmed the game, and naturally we're kind of biased towards our own side. So what actually went out was 2 different versions of the game, because people hang on your every word, and this is something that what we both learned. It's the first time anyone's done this before. 2 YouTube teams collaborating in that way. And originally they didn't want us to film. That was the thing. And I said, no, like, if you want us here, we film the game and we put a video out, because it's not all about hashtag. Why are you going to get the glory of this thing? We started this. You need us as much as we need you.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
This game, go ahead. So they were like, all right, fine, like it'll happen. So that got me back up straight away, that they were being quite controlling. We had to sign all these disclaimer forms and everything like that. And the lads are like, it's like, we just turn up on a Sunday and we play and we film and we go out again. Like, why are we having to do this? Just said, look, play the game, just get on with it, let them do their thing, and we'll do our version.
Yeah.
And it was weird actually, because when we were signing these disclaimers, one of the guys was like, "Oh, have you got any for us?" I was like, "No." Some might say we were unorganised, but some might say we were just doing it, just rocking up with a camera and filming the game. It's not a problem. Like, we wasn't really business savvy in that sense. And this is something. This is a reason why hashtag are where they are and they're doing what they're doing. It's because they've got a foundation there and they've got a business model. Whereas Palmer's has never had that. It's been completely natural, and it's never wanted to do that either. We've never wanted to kind of get a ball in and get a structure to it. It was just kind of like, see what happens each day, and that was the beauty of it.
Yeah,
both work really well, but there's a reason why they've carried on and have gone up and made progress to what they are. Yeah. So yeah, it was the videos basically. So I was, I'm a little bit sarcastic with my approach with my commentary, and it's always been that. So anyone that would have watched the videos that was a Palmers fan would have watched that and gone, yeah, another Palmers video, cool. Unlucky they lost. But what actually happened was Hashtag's audience also watched that, didn't understand the way I come across in my videos, and was just like, this guy's an idiot. Da, 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 da. And then but then the same for Spencer. I was watching Spencer's one. I was like, why they cut this out? Why they've done that? And it was a strange edit, and people started picking differences between, like he put this one in, but he took this tackle out, and it was. Yeah. And I spoke to Spencer a while ago about this, and we sat down and we were like, the mistake we made, not necessarily with the edit, it was more so letting them both go out but the way they did, because what we should have done in theory was had the same footage shot for shot go out and then put our own commentary on it, and then we can do our own thing. But actually what's happened is like, so basically I might have, there's loads of dead things that happen in Sunday League football in terms of like a team goes forward, they shoot from 30 odd yards and it goes over the bar or wide or whatever. I won't put that in because it's just boring and there's nothing to say about it. Whereas Hashtag might have put that in and gone, oh, he's gone. So they've hyped it up a little bit more. And vice versa for us. We might have put, to make us, because we were getting ramsacked at the end, I might have put in a couple of odd chances that we might have had that probably wouldn't normally put in, just to make it look a bit like, right, we were trying. So there's ways you can work it, but I mean, some weeks you might play a team that they don't get one shot. So all of the footage is that one-way traffic, and it's just, you kind of feel bad. You kind of do want the other team to have some highlights, but sometimes there's not. Literally, there's no point in putting some of the stuff they put in there. So yeah, that was the fallout. It lasted for a few years. There was always this rivalry, and people didn't like us, and I think that stunted our growth because Hashtag was a big channel, so it kind of like that was our opportunity to really push on. And it didn't happen, unfortunately. So we not only did we lose the game, but we lost an online bit of beef as well, because a big channel had an audience that sort of swamped us and was just like, oh, these are idiots and stuff. And yeah, we never really recovered from that. Obviously, we still grew and represented Sunday League as best as possible. Yeah, they went on to do a slightly different route. So that's all it was. But we were a lot younger then. I say a lot younger. I was like late 20s. So we shouldn't really. But I think people thought we were like early 20s. You see a lot of the teams coming through now, they're like 18, 19-year-olds. We started when we were like 29, 30. I think. So we're like mid-30s now, and everyone's like, Palms are crap, Palms are shit. It's like, we can't run.
Geriatric United.
The lads are inquiring like next year how to get into a vets league. That's where we're at. Like, people don't get it. People think we can still keep up with the 18, 19-year-olds. No, the game's different now for us. So, and we've never, and that's another thing. I've never put pressure on us. I've always been quite, self-deprecating with the team itself. Even though they're good, and I know they're good, and any given game we can win, I'll always sort of play it down a little bit to, if we do lose it, embarrassing. If I go in, it's going to be a tough game today, and we lose, it's like, well, you did say it. But that's where I'm at with it. Yeah, I'm never that one. There are other teams like USC Dons, for example. They say it with their chest. They're like, we are the best team out here. No one will ever beat us. Yeah. When that happens, when they lose, you look like a bit of an idiot. That's the thing, like, and I say it before, I say it all the time, like boxers, for example, when they're squaring up to each other, one of them's going to lose, and one of them's going to look like an idiot. I don't know how you do it. I couldn't be that confident. No. People do it. So I'm always sort of playing it down a little bit. It'll be a good game. We'll see how it goes. And when we win, it's like, oh yeah, did it.
See, the SC Dons, is that the team where that boy Asa scored the overhead kick? Was that them?
That's the one, yeah.
What a strike that was.
Yeah, wasn't it? It's funny because they're I love them to bits. They're very passionate, and they are very sure of themselves, and they are the best team around as far as they're concerned. Yeah. So that game, we could have won that game, which is crazy to think, but we was always a year behind in ability, I would say, because they've got these really, really good players, and we've signed some really good players. So each year they get better and we get better. So I'd say we're a year apart. They're probably a few years apart now because we haven't really added to the team, but they're always adding ballers. But that game, we lost 4-2, but they scored a last-minute goal, and were 2-0 down, I think, but we brought it back to 2-2.
That's right.
With that overhead kick. So you're thinking, well, we're actually going toe to toe with this lot, and they scored I think they probably scored in about 70, 80 minutes, and then one right at the end, which made it look like. So I think we lost 3-2. I think it was a better representation of that game, but we had chances in that. I remember coming off, and we were like smiling because we were well happy with that performance. We were quite proud. Yeah, I couldn't wait. It was weird. It was like one of the only times I've been really excited to put a game out that we've lost. Because they're so much better than what we are. But we properly gave them a game, so I was so proud of that. And I remember that they were like, I can't remember who it was. I think it was Big G, the goalkeeper. He came up and I said, I was like, nearly had you there, didn't we? And he was like, as if to say, like, you seem happy about a loss. And I went, did you see that overhead kick? Yeah, they do take themselves very seriously. So it's that same thing. Like, if you're going to take yourselves quite seriously and put yourself out there as the best, expect people to act up and expect people to try and bring you down as much as possible. And expect people to hate you a lot. Because I don't think, other than that hashtag situation, I don't think many people hate Palmers because we're not really an offensive team. But we just put the content out there. We don't go out there stating this or stating that. We don't pretend to be anything we're not. We're just like a bunch of lads that turn up. We might be pissed. We might not be. One might have a wedding to go to, a half time. One's on call at work. Flat tyre. He's a tyre fitter, so there's a goalkeeper of all people had to go the other week. It's like, it's real stuff. Like, that's what we're trying to create here.
That's exactly it. Yeah, I mean, it's people buying into authenticity, don't they? And it genuinely was, like you say, after the SC, like the SC Dons games, it was through Palmers that I discovered the SC Dons as well. I remember watching the SC Dons game and they're running about with the YouTube belt and all that. Like Greg's does not they actually had like an actual wrestling belt and they're running about with this on at the sideline.
It's a bit much, isn't
it? But it's one of those. At first I was like, who are these guys? Man? This is just like...
I'll tell you where it came from actually, though, because a lot of people don't know. But there was another team out there called Rebel FC.
That's right, yeah.
Which came on the scene, and they invented it. So they were like, all right, so there's not really a YouTube league or anything like that about. So let's try and make these games between YouTube teams a little bit more competitive. So we're Rebel, we've got this belt, come and challenge us for it. And SC Dons went there straight away, beat them and took it. And then they went on a run of, and they've got this belt. And I don't know if they're taking the piss out of it or they embraced it. I think they embraced it.
They really embraced it. Like, yeah.
They loved it, yeah. So they brought it to our game and we're like, we want all the belts. And it's like, I mean,
there's only one, mate. You've got all the belts.
We didn't invent this belt, and B, you're bringing it here and putting it on the line, and we're like, we could beat you, and you can keep that belt if you want. We're not interested in the belt. And I remember it's 2-0 up, and they come over, and I think it was a little bit of a scrap, but they were like, proper shoving it in our faces. They're like, we really don't care about the belt. We really don't care about this belt. And it was quite funny because actually they carried on with this belt for quite a long time. And then I think they said to themselves, I think we're probably the best. We're going to get rid of it now. And then they come up against a team called Rising Ballers, who are a very, very good team.
Very, very good team.
Very good team. They're basically, if you don't know, they sign a lot of unsigned talent or people that have dropped out of academies and they sort of pick them back up. And I think off of the back of what they're doing, their platform is more geared to trying to get those players that have dropped out back into the game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So they use their platform for good, and it's a really good thing that they're doing. So this belt was conveniently dropped just before this game, and they lost it.
That'd have been amazing. Give me that fucking belt.
The belt, So the belt's been retired now, unfortunately. But yeah, man. And I think along that time they drew a game as well.
Yeah.
Against a team in Ipswich, and nothing was said about penalties or anything. No, we'll just keep the belt. No, full respect to Don, because they've changed it completely. I think we shone light on this as a concept for teams that this can work, and this is a really good thing. And fair play to Dons for doing what they do, because they've come with their own narrative and their own angle, and it is really good. I'm not even trying to diss it. Like, it's all a bit banter, but like, they are really good at what they do, and you can see that they've improved over time. Still not the biggest team, because they call themselves the biggest team on YouTube. When they can get more subscribers on us, then that'll be the biggest thing. And that will happen. Trust me, it will happen. It will happen very, very soon. They're growing at such a rate.
They're not far off, are they?
I think they're sort of approaching 200. I think we're on like 230 something. So who's counting?
Who's counting?
Who's counting? No, I think you're right. They thought, like, they see that. I mean, they have grown massively. I mean, they're selling out non-league grounds for just kind of for a Sunday league trophy. I mean, there's like 2,000 odd people turning up to watch this team play in a generic county league cup final. I mean, it's incredible stuff. And then also, like, they've off the back of it, they've got that kind of X1s just traveling the country, essentially going around and playing in charity games and stuff. It's incredible, and everywhere they're going, they're amassing a crowd. So it's, I mean, like Big G on Soccer EM and stuff now.
Absolutely,
it's mental, isn't it? I mean,
they've definitely got a brand there that appeals to a wider audience. I'll still put my hand up and say we are more relatable to your average footballer. I think people could look at our videos and go, "Oh, I really want to get into Sunday League." I don't think many people would look at a Don's video and go, if you're an average baller or not even that good, I think that would probably put you off, because it's like, I don't think I could hack it. You know what I mean? So
I couldn't agree more, mate. Genuinely, see, like, you look at the SC Dons team now, and some of the players they've got in that team, you're thinking, these guys are like serious players. You can tell that they all play on a Saturday at a higher level. Like, whereas with Palmer's, like, I mean, I'm going to mention a few names, no offence, guys, but like, when you've got the likes of, like, when you had like Wayne playing and like Super Dan and stuff, you're going, or Scottish, you're like, I think I could get into that team. Like, if I was in I could play for Palmer's. I think, genuinely, I used to think that, and I'd be like, I mean, I am a distinctly average footballer myself. I'm one of these players that, I was thinking about it today, actually, I'm one of these players that the older I get, the worse I was. You know what I mean? Like, I was like average, but like as time goes on, I would be like, I was never really good. Never. Whereas Greg is the opposite. Greg is one of these guys. The older he gets, the better he was.
Oh yeah,
mate, I was a fucking player.
See what I mean? That's exactly it. Yeah.
I remember the heyday when I could run. Yeah. So, the Invincibles season.
Cool. Yeah.
Talk to me about that.
Mad is the only word I can describe that as. It was just another season, so it's cool because we finally hit the top. So we was in the Premier, and we'd look at a lot of the teams over the years that we were mixing it with in that league, and be like, because we'd be in a different division, you'd think, I hope we don't get them in a cup or whatever. We're still a good team, and we could have a game, but we'd normally like sort of just lose out or get beat by these teams. But now we're in that division, you're thinking, we've got the videos coming. I wonder what they're expecting from us. Obviously, they want us to win more silverware, but probably not going to happen this year. But we had a really good team, we started. It was weird because we didn't get a game for we was about 3 or 4 weeks behind in the league. For some reason, we just didn't get a league fixture. I think it was an odd number of teams, but I'll tell you what, that league's fixture secretary is just not right in the head, because I don't know how there was one team on 5 games before he didn't play the game in the league. It was silly. Anyway, so we was playing cup games, and we'd started in the Essex Cup, and it was a weird one. We were 4-0 up, and then one of our guys decides to just kick someone off the ball, and then gets sent off, and then it's kind of an onslaught the second half. 11 gets 10. We actually get through it 5-4 in the end. So that was the Essex Cup, which we actually went on to win, but we were so close to going out that day. And I remember that was the day that I actually picked my daughter up from the hospital. She'd just been born, so I remember it vividly, pissing down with rain, and I go back to the hospital to pick her up, and she's like, how'd you get on? I was like, yeah, we won just about, and could be a fun video to make. But obviously my daughter's here, so that was a time when there was a lot of focus on the family as well. So anyway, what was happening on the pitch was kind of a blur to me, because week by week we were just winning and winning and winning and winning. And then we just kind of got into this habit of winning. And it was the Essex Cup that was the main thing for us, because each time or each round we was coming up against the best team. Because you'd always do your research. You'd be like, who's this team that we're coming up against? Oh, they're top of their league in Southend, or they're top of their league in Chelmsford. And you look back at previous years, oh, they've won it for the last 5 years. So best team in Chelmsford, best team in Southend, best team in Colchester. We just come in every single round. We was like, why do we keep getting these draws? But we kept beating these teams. I was about halfway through the season, and we was in all the cups. We was, mid-table in the league, but hadn't lost. I think we drew one game, but we had won the rest. We had loads of games in hand. It was just going really well, and we were saying to ourselves, we could do something this year. I don't know what's going on, but we could probably do something. And as time went on, it just got better and better and better. And we had our League Cup final, which it was a mad one, because we had 1 week we had the whole League Cup. So that's all divisions, a bit like the FA Cup for our league.
Yeah.
We won that, and then that was played on a Wednesday, and our Essex Cup final game was played on the Sunday. And we were like, why they put them that close together? It's really frustrating. We were saying, look, can we move the cup final to our league? And our league were like, congratulations, getting to the Essex Cup final. It's really good. We'll be with you all the way. I said, right, can you do us a favour, because we've got a huge game on Sunday against this team. Can we move our cup final back? And they were not allowing it. And we were like, how much do you want us to win this big one? We're happy to, accommodate and do whatever. But they were like, no, this is the rules. So we were just felt a bit hard done by our own league. But yeah, so we win this cup midweek on the Wednesday. Then on the Sunday, we turn up against this team that was. We were learning things over time. We actually went and watched their semi-final against a team in our league as well, and they beat them like 2-0. And we were just like, yeah, they look very good. And they were made up of, it was basically an SE Dons, if you know what I mean? They were made up of players that play on a Saturday and they get paid. I think their two centre forwards were picking up like 500-600 a week, from what I could understand. They were, I think I can't remember the league that they were in. It was like step 4 champions, Bowers and Pitts. I went up to step 3. So it's like really, really good standard. You just, Jesus Christ, like, we got this far in the best cup that you could possibly get in. Here we are. And I remember, the team talks was really important that day. I filmed our gaffer Tomo's one. And it was quite sweet, actually, because I was kind of cute. But it was just like, it was almost like we, at the back of our minds, we knew we were going to lose. It was a weird one. We kind of took the pressure off ourselves in that game. So we were, he was to take the piss out of this. He's like, look, we've got this far. Just do your best. If Shane puts it out for a throw, which he does every single week, so be it. If Jack spills it and bundles it in the net, so be it. And it was like mugging everyone off for what their mistakes, but we was all laughing and cracking up. We filmed little bits of it. And so we're going out against like hashtag's captain. Hashtag United's captain was their captain. So this is the standard that we're up against. And to cut a long story short, we beat them 2-0. And it's honestly the best day ever. I can't try and put it into words, because we were never meant to win that ever by the odds against us, and going back to that very first round where we nearly got put out against this team 5-4, to go to Colchester and go to Clacton. We went to Clacton with 11 men, or 11 and a half men. It's like, this team, it was like we'd done our research on that team in Clacton. They were full of teams from they were from Holland FC, and they played hashtag. And they play at the Holland FC ground, and it was just like, how are we mixing it with these people? We're Sunday League, how are we here? We're beating them, and we're going and going and going, and there's just this whole momentum. And it was just such a great day. And where did we go? Straight to the pub, obviously, and the session was unreal. Like, you would not believe it. And I went home early. I'm like, I've got to get back to my daughter. I've got to say goodnight and blah, blah, blah. And the WhatsApp videos that were coming through, and till like 2 or 3 in the morning, we smashed it today. That was a really good day, and I was like, photos. You don't normally keep photos of your Sunday League team, but it's really, really good memories. So we won all the cups that we needed to win. Going back to the league, we had like 6 games in hand, and it was a case of, I think we had 3 or 4 games remaining, and we won it. And then it was like, well, we've got 3 or 4 games remaining. We've done the treble. Now the only thing we can do is just like be invincible. We haven't lost this year yet. So yeah, it was just like week by week, and the other team knew they were like bringing their best players out, and we were just winning and winning and winning. And yeah, we did it. Invincible season. It just topped it off. It was a crazy time, and I don't know if you saw, but we actually ended the channel at that point.
Yeah.
We put out this video just sort of saying end of the era. It was like kind of 5 years of starting in Div 4, playing on crap pitches and with your Waynes and your Dans and that.
Yeah.
And we took them through, and we went as far as we possibly could, and people wanted to start, really winning stuff. So with respect to them, we started a reserve team and still filmed them. Like, they were still getting their game time, and that's what it was about, trying to keep everyone as close as possible and under the same umbrella. So we had Palmer's reserves, and they were still getting their game time. We were filming that as well, so I was doing double the work. But the first team, it was like, right, let's see what we can do. Let's see if we can push on and really win some stuff. And yeah, to go from that just that to the best team in Essex and winning anything you possibly could, but not only that, going unbeaten as well was really special, really special. And it was a really good year for YouTube football as a whole, because I know SC Dons, they won their county cup, and then we won the Essex, which they're sort of neighbours with. Manny's team won a treble as well. There was another team, this team in Ipswich. I know, I watch them all the time. I kind of think of them. They won their stuff. So, yeah.
Is that everyone? Beatties, was it? No, it wasn't Beatties.
No, not Beatties. No, not Beatties. What are they called? I can't think. Kitchener FC. They're called. So they won all their stuff as well. So it was really good. Like, everyone in the scene was just sort of winning.
Yeah.
I think Beatties are the only ones not to. I think they might have won a cup, but everyone won something that year. It was really, and everyone looked at YouTube football at that time, was like, wow, like, they're not just a YouTube team.
Yeah,
really good teams.
It's actually very strange. So at that time, I was living down in Wiltshire, and I was playing for a team on a Sunday called Tidworth Town, and at that time we were doing exactly the same. We actually won. There was 6 trophies that we could have won. We won 3 of them. And like you say, went through our league unbeaten. One of them being the Wiltshire Cup as well. And it was just like it was mad, like, because like you said, it was kind of, I'm watching Palmer's on a Monday, going, these guys are doing well. And then again, same with SC Dons, and everyone's getting to these county cup finals, and I'm saying, played in my county cup final and won it, and then it was mad, a mad time. I felt a little bit sorry for our opponents in the final, because we absolutely battered. It was like, we're talking like 7-0.
Oh no, it can happen though, can't it?
I mean, they had bus loads of people there, and I remember going up to the bar afterwards, and they all had these polo shirts on with Wiltshire Cup final 20. I was like, you've got a T-shirt on to remind you of the time you got dick 7-0. Mate, it's rough.
Yeah, I reckon they got a good deal there. They're like, yeah, get it embroidered and we'll finish it for you. We'll get the result. Probably didn't go back to that guy, did they?
No, I wouldn't have thought so, no.
So, Smiv, what I wanted to ask you about was what you were saying there, that you kind of finished up Palmer's FC, as it were, and then but you're doing the on the road series as well when you're going around football grounds. So, how did that come about, and how's it all going?
Well, yeah, as I mentioned, like, we were sort of late 20s, early 30s. So I knew when this was taking off and when it was kicking off, I knew Palmer's had to end at some point. I knew that if I was going to have a career in content creation, I'd have to move on from Palmer's. There would be a time. And I think the way that journey that we had was just a perfect way to end it, because we had all the seasons as playlists on there. It was like a little Netflix box set. Anyone could just come along and just go from one to the next and just see the growth of it. So it just felt like a perfect time to sort of cut that off and just call it an end of an era and just show the progression, really. It was a beautiful time. But yeah, during that time, I think probably about 3.5 years in, I'm now looking at, I'm doing Palmer's, but I need to find something to fall back on when I do eventually end this. Because I didn't just want to end it and be like, right, now what?
Yeah.
So I was trying to work out what I wanted to do, because I think if you you're doing content creation online, I think the most important thing is you need to enjoy it. Because if you're just putting it out just because you want to earn money from making videos and get likes and follows and stuff, then you're probably not going to do very well, because you'll burn out if you don't enjoy what you do.
Yeah.
So what do I enjoy doing? I like going to watch football. I like going having a beer. I like taking my mates. And I was like, right, okay, that's cool. But the actual idea of On the Road was given to me by, I don't know if you remember this guy, the chicken connoisseur. Remember him?
Yeah, he was the one who done the promotion up and down the football steps. Oh no, sorry.
No.
Is this the guy outside the chicken shop?
The little lad. Yeah.
The Afro, the tie.
Yeah. Yes, sorry, yeah, I do remember him.
Yeah. So he brought out this series. I don't know. I think it was called Chicken Connoisseur, and he was just going around to different chicken shops in London and rating them, and it blew up, obviously, like everywhere. And I was like, I could do that with football grounds. So it's that concept. If you break it down, it's so simple. It's exactly the same. He goes to a chicken shop. I go to a football ground. We both rate the experience. It's exactly the same thing, and anyone can apply that to anything. That thing actually really works. So, and people were fascinated by, like, when I go to a ground, they want to see like all the new, like, fans that might not necessarily know who I am. Normally, either the club post it out, a fan who knows of me will post it out and be like, oh, check out what this guy thought of. So it's like every time I go to a new ground, I get a new bank of viewers come in.
Yeah,
which is a really cool way of sort of growing your audience. But yeah, man, it started off with how do I do it? Because the football vlogging is kind of like quite frowned upon. So you see these people in the crowd with the camera. I've got one here. So one of these cameras, and they'll flip it up, and they'll be like, and I can see, like, in these football vlogs, I can see people behind these people just staring and going,
yeah.
And I get it. I totally get it. It's very alien to 99% of people. You go to a football ground, you don't expect to see someone in the crowd just film themselves. Like, and I'm not like, people think I'm quite confident and whatnot, but I don't like being on a camera and having people around me staring at me. I don't feel comfortable with it. So I knew that if I was going to do this series, I couldn't do that. So what could I do? And I knew that worked was actually the commentary from Palmers. So I literally just ripped the commentary that I do from Palmers, used the same mic, and then I was going to games and I was doing, rather than doing this, I was kind of just doing this. So I was still part of the crowd, I was enjoying it, but I just kept it recording and just like capturing everything I needed to capture.
Yeah.
Wasn't pissing anyone off. I didn't feel self-conscious at all. And I could just go and do my thing. And then I would take it home and look back at what I've captured and then just create a story out of it. Because again, it's similar to Palmers. It's not meant to be serious. We're not meant to be documenting, oh, it was this game on this day, the weather was this and the wind was in this direction and this is the form of the two teams. Like, that's really boring. Like, who cares? So I'm here to just show you my experience of this day. I've never been here before. Let's see what the atmosphere is like. Let's just film a little bit of the crowd. Let's see what old Doris hot dogs and burgers are like. Well, that's what we need to know as a football fan. And what I actually discovered is I've got a very niche American audience. Majority of it is UK, but there's this American. I'd say there's about 20 or 30 Americans that love and are absolutely fascinated by what Palmers did, and B, just non-league football and just the English game in general. They love it, absolutely love it, and that's grown. That American audience has grown, and it's the On the Road is actually for them more than the English audience, because they get it, they understand, they've been to these sort of grounds before. The Americans haven't, and they all want to travel over and they all want to see it, and they basically use the On the Road playlist as a catalogue. So it's like, oh, when I go here, I'm going to pick this game because Smith went here and he rated it 5 stars. That's a really poor accent, by the way. But that's kind of who it's geared towards. It's like, I don't like to come in on the whole stats and everything, and who cares about that. So I'm coming in at either those guys that don't understand it too much, or just non-football fans in general. And you get a lot of messages like, I'll sit down with my missus and we always watch On the Road. She hates football, but she loves this. So it's kind of worked.
Have you ever?
I mean, it does. The thing is, as well, it gets you thinking. Like, I mean, I quite like going along to just a random game. I mean, if I'm anywhere kind of random around the country, like what I used to do was I used to straight away get the old Groundhopper app on and be like, right,
yeah.
What game's on what game's on near me, and I would just go and find this random level of football and go and watch it. But like obviously, when you get to kind of like your like National League or National League South or kind of Southern League or whatever, these all the time I'd be there and I'd be like looking, and little things you'd be like, what's the girth of that corner flag look like? You know what I mean? What's that line all look like? Does human ruler look? No, you know what I mean? I do it all the time. The amount of times I've seen, Justice for Stewards, he's watching the game every day. Go on, Glenn. You know what I mean? It's really, it makes you look at the experience in a different way. And it's, I've got to say, I really enjoy it. I'm a big fan of it.
Have you ever made it across? Have you ever made it across the border up north?
No, we haven't. No, people keep grilling me about that because
right, listen, that's what you need to come to us, right? We'll take you to the Vale of Leaving Juniors ground where Chris and I used to play. It's called the Milburn, right?
Okay.
It's got the best pie in the west of Scotland. I'm saying it, right?
Put it out there, yeah.
Right, I'm saying it out there. There's one big bike shed at one side of the pitch itself is a thing of beauty. It's like a bowling green. But
nice.
It is surrounded by what looks like sort of war-torn Kosovo, right? Yeah. And we used to train in behind the park on this red ash bit that used to turn to like a mad mush during the winter, stuff like that. But if you're coming up, that's
what do you mean, the Astro gravel?
The Astro gravel,
that's the Astro gravel.
But if you're coming up, you need to go to a Vale of Leaving Juniors game.
What level are they?
So they are now. Well, in Scotland, obviously, they've now just kind of brought in this like the West of Scotland League. So they used to have two kind of systems. They would have Scottish, what they called senior football, which would be like the SPL down to Scottish League 2, and below that they had the Highland and Lowland leagues that fed in.
Right.
And then, but kind of slightly overlapping that was Scottish junior football. So it would be a lot more like your kind of traditional non-league stuff.
Right, okay.
But a lot of these teams now have merged across in. So they're in this kind of, this season was supposed to be the first season that started
like transition.
West of Scotland League. So you've got your kind of bigger teams. So there are teams like Clydebank who were in the Premier Leagues of the junior football. I mean, they used to be senior. They were a very, very good side back in the day.
I remember back in the day, like Grandstand and Des Lynam. I'd watch all of the results, and you'd hear Clydebank. So I know.
Yeah, Clydebank. So Clydebank Junior, they fell right back. They fell right there, and had to kind of go across to to junior football. But like so, the Vale there's this kind of strange pool of like 3 leagues at the bottom of the West of Scotland, which are essentially 3 leagues in one. So the way it's going to work is they'll all play games, and essentially the top thirds, each of these leagues will be split into thirds.
Yeah.
And then the kind of top third will become, say, like League 1, middle third will become League 2, bottom third will become League 3. So it's quite difficult to kind of gauge where they're at the moment. Yeah. So it's a bit kind of convoluted, but the lower ends of Scottish.
It's still a good level of football. You know, it's still a good level of football, but it's I know what Chris is saying. It's not exactly an invigorating watch.
As with anything involved in Scottish football, it's not straight.
No.
We don't like We don't like rhyme or reason up here. Not a chance.
But you should definitely come up.
Loads of people have been asking us, like, when you going north? And I remember, like, just before the whole lockdown coming, we did a couple of northern trips, but you're going to say, that ain't north. Like, everyone was like, what you want about that ain't north? Like, basically, for me, anywhere Midlands or above, like Birmingham or above, is north. It says it on the sign. It says it on the signs. It says north. So it's like, I'm up north. North is huge, and south is just that. Man, it's just like you have to just put in that little bit. Kind of like, because this is the thing, and people don't know this, but I hate travelling. So they say. I was saying before, make sure you make content that you enjoy. That's probably the one bit that I don't enjoy is the travelling. But luckily, sometimes Charlie comes along, so we're in the car and just chat football. I remember, oh God, I tell you, where did we go? So this is north, right? For us, this is north. We went to Worksop, which is like, but you're like, that's down south.
That's
We went, where else did we go? We went Sheffield as well. So for us, that's like kind of like quite a long way for us. Okay. But we are planning on going. We wanted to do like Newcastle, Middlesbrough, Sunderland, and then obviously beyond that, get to Scotland. And the partnership that we've got at the moment in Utilita, they've got a few Scottish. In fact, Utilita is huge in Scotland, from what I understand.
Well, there's a Rangers sponsor. Well, they were the Rangers.
We've got Rangers and Celtic.
Rangers and Celtic.
So the plan was to get on a plane. They wanted to up to Scotland. So I've been told it doesn't take too long, so that'll be the mileage on the car. So we'll get up there. We'll see one of the big games up there, but then stay and then try and catch another game that's maybe lower down that people don't know. And that was what I always thought. Like if I ever go to Scotland, or even if I go abroad, like Italy or whatever, we can go and watch Inter Milan or Milan or whatever. But I'd love to go and see like a Serie B team or a Serie C team that no one's ever heard of, and just show it what their like lower league were like over there as well. That was always the thing. But we was coming back from Sheffield, right? And there was this, I don't know what it was, but he blurted out this random. I think he started with Paul Kitson. Just said Paul Kitson. I was like, well, let's play the game. Come on, Paul Kitson. So then I had to say another footballer, but with the first name ending in the starting letter of Paul Kitson, so N. And then I was like, well, Nigel Winterburn. And then he was like, okay, well, and we just carry on. We went from, I remember exactly where we were. We'd just left the ground because it was a long walk from where we parked. And we were just saying players' names for 3.5 hours straight. Not one conversation was had. We were just back. Well, and it got us home. All the way home. I remember pulling up, and he was like, what did he say? Chris Perry. I was like, oh, that's fine, right. See you soon. He got out of the car and on. And like, I don't know what era. How old are you guys, by the way?
33.
Yeah,
33. And so you're sort of, same era as us. You're sort of like the whole, the Premier League sticker book era.
Yeah.
They were coming out with some right old names like Barry Venison and like all sort of, like, you wouldn't believe it, Stiggins Bjornaby. John Scowls, Stuart Nevercott. You know what I mean? So Colin Calderwood, you know him.
Yeah. Colin Calderwood, no. Exactly.
Did he play with Wimbledon?
Yeah, he played at Wimbledon and Spurs, and obviously Scotland as well. Yeah. So, man.
He's at Hibs, was he not?
He might have been at Hibs, actually.
Yeah, I think he was at Hibs. Yeah.
Mad. He was crap.
Hey.
Scottish football.
That's how it goes, isn't it?
Do you keep up to date with Scottish football now?
I'll be honest, no, I don't. And I never have, if I'm being honest. It's just...
Yeah.
I love Tottenham, that's my team, and I'll read up on them and see what they're doing. But yeah, people have this image of me like, because I do YouTube football, that I've got this plethora of knowledge about all teams and I know all the stats and everything. Tomorrow night I'm going on, I don't know if you've seen the True Geordie kickoff. Thing that he does on there. So I've been invited to go on there for Tottenham versus Chelsea. I hope they don't talk to me about, what do you think of Chelsea and what they're doing. It's like, it's one of those. I don't know. Like, who's their gaffer now? Thomas Tuchel. Like, I'll read like the headlines and stuff, and but who they've signed and what, I can give a crap of what formation they're playing and these like all these centre backs, and I couldn't give a crap about that. I'm just there for the game and the highs and the lows of it, and the players are just part of it. So I don't really keep up to date with loads of other teams. My knowledge of Scottish football is very small.
Yeah.
How Partick Thistle doing these days, though?
They are actually down in League One. They're Scottish League One, mate. They've dropped so I think about 4 years ago, they were the top six. They finished the top six, the top half of the league, and then they just fell away. But they had a guy, basically a taxi driver, won the league won the league, won the lottery, sorry, and then basically just started pumping a load of money in. He's now got, he's got a stand named after him. It's like the Colin Weir stand.
Loves the Jags, mate. He loves the Jags.
Yeah, he loves the Jags. Loves the Jags. It's
quality. Yeah, man. No, I think there was an era of Scottish football, like kind of like the Ali McCoist era for Rangers and Henrik Larsson at Celtic and stuff. Like I always looked at. I loved Henrik Larsson. I had a thing for guys in. It sounds really bad, but guys with dreadlocks. I was like, yeah, they're cool. They look really cool. Like so, I Edgar Davids, Henrik Larsson, Clarence Seidel, Ruud Gullit, all these guys with the dreadlocks. I was like, yeah, they're sick. I'd love them. But coincidentally, like Clarence Seidel, who's probably one of my all-time favourite players, even after he shaved them all off, he was still like absolute baller. Did love him.
Incredible football.
Really, really good. So Henrik Larsson was kind of my Scottish football era. Mm-hmm. And obviously, as I mentioned before, Grandstand would come on, and you just hang around for the results and just be like, say the names of teams. Dumbarton. I think Dumbarton followed me on Twitter randomly.
That's our local. That's where we're from. That's.
Oh, is it? Oh,
my wee cousin's the physio. We played against Dumbarton.
Many years ago.
They used to play us in pre-season friendlies to build their confidence.
Yeah, so literally Dumbarton and the Vale of Leven is like
they're right next to
each other.
I bet they turned up with polo shirts. All that.
Yes, getting another polo shirt, lads.
The podcast, is it Goalmouth? Is that what it's called? Am I right in saying?
Yes, we did the first episode the other day. So that's come through Utilita. So the partnership with Utilita I've got is purely to sponsor on the road, and the agreement there was to every so often plug their channel, and because they've got all these partnerships with clubs up and down the country. So jump on, maybe go to a club and create some content with them every so often. But actually, what's happened because of lockdown is I'm not being able to plug them too much. So I'm finding myself a lot more doing stuff with them on that channel. We've come up with this podcast. So David James, former England goalkeeper. I have to say former England goalkeeper for some reason after his name.
That's
do you know,
it's weird. I said the same thing when we were talking about it earlier on. Chris was like, "Aye, David James," and I went, "Oh, the former England goalkeeper."
That's his name. It's on his passport, David James, former England goalkeeper. Oh dear. But yeah, no. So he's an ambassador for Utilita. So he was doing some bits for them anyway, and then they had this sponsorship with me. And then we're like, we could just get them to have a chat. So that would be a podcast. And what we actually found was we got on really well. And they were like, David, do you want to do a podcast with Smith? And he was like, yeah, sick, I'll do it. I was like, wow. Okay.
That's amazing.
So that's crazy. Yeah, someone commented on my vlog the other day and they were like, isn't it mad that you started filming Sunday League football and now you're doing a podcast with David James? Like,
it
is that route. That's where it's got to. So I can't complain. It's really good. We've only done the one. Well, we did the one, we put it out, and then the other day we filmed one with Ivan Toney, who is the Championship top scorer. I think he scored today as well. Championship top scorer at the moment. So for Brentford. So it's mad some of the names that they're picking out, and they're even leaning on DJ to get some people he knows in, and some of the names he's popping up. Like, oh wow, we're going to actually do some stuff. So
he's going to know some boys.
Yeah, he's got some stories. I tell you. Some we can't put out. Some we can, but, it's crazy. And he's kind of I can't understand how this has come about, but it has, and I'm well happy to sort of get involved and see where it goes. Really.
It's one of the things it's amazing how some of these network, like the people you can get access to, and the people you can get on, like especially with podcasts and stuff. It's mad. And some of the story. I mean, so one of our very, very early ones is with a former footballer called Kieran McInnesby.
Okay.
And he was actually part of he was taken to the World Cup with Scotland.
The last time
in '98, he wasn't there to play. It was basically a bit like Theo Walcott when he went to the World Cup, like when he was a youngster with England, just brought along just for the experience. It was him and a couple of other lads, and he was telling us a story about when they played Brazil in the opening game. And
I know.
it was like Colin Hendry,
Colin,
wasn't it? One of the old Colin Hendry gave him a load of strips. It's like, right, jump down and see the Brazil lads and get a load of strips, get them signed. Yeah. So he had all these strips and they're all folded up, and he went down there and he got like, we're talking like ridiculous names like Roberto, Rivaldo, some like serious names. So he got to sign all these names, and he went back up and he noticed that one of the shots in the middle, or one or two of the shots in the middle, didn't have any signatures on it. He missed it out completely. Colin Hendry's like, oh, shit. What's your forge? What are your signatures like? So he had to go away and literally copy. There's somebody out there thinking they've got a signed Brazil shirt with Bebeto's signature on it, and it's just my mate Kieran.
That's quality.
It's brilliant, isn't it? Really, really good.
James O'Brien, he had some great football stories because when he was at Celtic, so James O'Brien's from where we're from, but he was at Celtic.
He's in Notts County just now.
And he was telling stories about when he was at Celtic with Thomas Gravison.
Oh wow!
Oh my God, man! But he's got this kind of weird Scouse Scottish
Danish accent.
Aye, when he was getting Gordon Strachan in a headlock and going, "All right, Gordy la," and all that. Amazing, man.
So where was he from, Thomas Gravison?
Denmark.
He was from Denmark. He was Danish.
Yeah, he sort of like over time because he was. Did he sign for? Was he at Everton originally?
Yeah, he signed for Everton. Then went to Real Madrid. I went from Real Madrid to Celtic.
Yeah.
Just incredible.
I know. Absolutely
incredible. So there's I don't know if have you heard of the Open Goal podcast?
No.
So it's a really, really big podcast. It's Scottish football. So get an he's actually still plays footballer Simon Ferry, and he was part of the youth team in Scotland. They've had a lot of like Scottish footballers on their podcast, and they're like it's grown. That's growing arms and legs. That's become like a big institution.
Yeah.
Thomas Gravison has become this like kind of cult figure because there's so many stories just come out about Thomas Gravison that the guy is just an absolute screwball.
It's not just Thomas Gravison, Paolo Di Canio as well.
Paolo Di Canio has become...
Mate, that story about Paolo Di Canio and Wes Fotheringham is probably one of the best things I've ever heard. When
League One West.
They called him League One West on Sky Sports. He's like, here's not Czech. This is League One West.
The thing is he's actually had Wes Fotheringham talking about it as well, because obviously they were at Swindon at the same time, and it's incredible.
Brilliant, man.
But yeah,
it's mad what kind of players cross over, isn't it? It's almost like the big names kind of go down the leagues and the smaller names go up, and there's a point where they cross over and have these stories together at some random club.
It's
crazy, isn't it?
It really, really is. And for me, it's really interesting. Kind of see you get, especially now, you get to see in behind the curtain, don't you? Because it's always, I mean, like you say, we're from the Panini sticker book era where it was a case of there were just these faces on a under a sticker that you just collected. You get the occasional shiny. Wasn't it? Was it? That is my lasting memory of being in a primary school playground. And I used to walk about this wad.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you'd be like, got, need. And if this need fell, we get bigger. And then the negotiation started.
Yeah. There was some grueling negotiations in the playgrounds, I tell you.
Oh, incredible.
Absolutely. Every so often you get the rich kid that would have completed stick up at first because we're just getting, and he'd come in and just throw them.
Yeah.
Robbie Fowler!
Incredible stuff, isn't it? It really is. It really is.
I used to go in the shop. He always used to tell me off as well. Little did I know that he would soon become my, not my uncle, but like a friend of the family. My wife's Indian. It's like a corner shop that I actually got. It's my first job as well. So it's weird how everything sort of come about. But I used to go in there. Used to get each pack, and I used to just bend it slightly. And be like, nah, it's got nothing in it. And when it felt that little bit thicker, and I was like,
there's a shiny in there. There's a shiny.
20p, 25p. And sometimes it would work, sometimes it didn't. I don't know, but the day that you got number 1 or number 2 was just like happy days. Yeah. So yeah, good memories of that. It's weird. Panini actually sent me a sticker book for this season. They sent me a load of stickers. I need to get around to doing it actually because the little one loves that. But yeah, nice. Again, it's these things that you do when you're a kid. Obviously, we loved football and that, and we just played the game because we loved it. But there was always also a slight interest in what was going on in the world of football as well. And obviously, with the sticker books, as you say, I'm now interviewing or speaking to some of these guys that I used to collect stickers for. It's strange. And like Panini, they're not a huge company that you go, oh my god, but Panini, the geezer there watches my videos, and he's like, oh, I'd love to get you involved. And you just post out that you've got the new sticker book. Like, sick, yeah, definitely. I'm still like a little kid inside, like when I get it.
Yeah.
But you've got these other influencers there that would just be like, yeah, cool, whatever, and they don't post that stuff out there because it's not a big deal to them. They'll post out the big Xboxes that they receive for free, but still waiting for mine, by the way. But like, sticker book Xbox, yeah, man, it's I'm very, very, very lucky to be in this position. And like, what was it the other day? Like, I don't even play FIFA, but they sent me like a Team of the Year top or something. I was like, wow, this is amazing, free. Crazy. I'm still like, I know I've been doing this like 5 or 6 years, but it's still like when you get those little bits of things that come through, it's like, oh god, this is so cool.
Yeah.
So cool.
So
yeah, man. Yeah.
What's next for you then?
Yeah, so I used to be organised, so I was at Palmer's and I was like, all right, what's the next thing going to be? And now I'm doing on the road, and I don't really know what the next thing's going to be. That's the problem. I do want to stay in this scene. So there was a point where I didn't think this on the road channel would be able to carry on because of where I was at and that. So I was really inquiring, like just getting back involved in editing for YouTubers and helping them. Because I've got a lot of contacts in this scene, so I could probably get some work. But I kind of just got to look at what I've got really, and I think I've got over 100,000 people on a channel. But, it's only lockdown that stopped me doing what I do. For the first time ever, Palmer's got a sponsor this year. I got a sponsor. It's like it's not that bad. I thought things were bad, but I think I'm just going to carry on as long as I possibly can, because I always said to myself, I was like, I don't know how long I can go over to a Sunday League football pitch because we were that little bit older. How long are we going to recycle the players and keep going, and I just carry on filming it, and suddenly I'm 50 years old and I'm filming like these 19, 20-year-old lads I don't actually know, but I know through someone else who knows from someone else and someone else and someone else, because it's a generational thing. I didn't want to get into that. But what I could do is, and as I say, Palmer's, I relied on the players heavily, but for me, going to a game, that's on my own accord, so I could carry on the road if I wanted to. So I probably, and the series itself, it's got legs because I haven't got to, I think I've got to about 80 different teams so far. There's a lot of teams out there that I need to visit. So it just goes on. It just goes on and on and on. So I could carry on with that, but I don't know, man. Like, it's tough. It really is tough. I do want to carry on doing this, but I know I'm getting older, and I know that as you get older, you start to appeal less to the younger generation. So I've got to keep that in mind. So we'll see. But in terms of next, just take it a year at a time, I guess, season by season. See what happens. You never know what opportunities pop up from this. I say, I'm suddenly doing a podcast with David James, so you never know what can pop up next. Former England goalkeeper.
Former England goalkeeper, yeah. But that's exactly. I mean, we were saying both me and Greg, our lives this time last year were wildly different. Like say, Greg, photographer.
I actually had a really bad leg break, so I went back to playing sort of like Sunday League football, and I had my second game back and snapped my knee in half.
Jesus.
And I was in my bed for 3 months and couldn't walk for nearly a year, and then lockdown happened, so I've been off my work for 2 years. So
just practicing lockdown just in case.
Yeah, I was just getting ready for it.
Just getting real good at it.
Yeah.
So it was you that broke your bones and missed the podcast, yeah?
That was it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right, gentlemen, I'm going to call it an end this evening. Smiv, listen, thanks very much for coming on and talking to us, man. Really, really appreciate it.
No, thanks for having me. It's been good.
And I'm going to have a listen to you and David James, former England goalkeeper. We'll have a wee listen to that.
Have a listen, mate. Have a listen.
Definitely. Right, okay, folks. So thanks for listening. Please hit those like and subscribe buttons.